Greetings and welcome back to another Halloween special. Indeed, welcome to this year's Ghost Story. Every year we try to bring you an archaeology or historically themed ghost story, and last year was no different. In fact, you may recall it was a Roman ghost story, all about a Greek philosopher moving into a haunted house in Athens. Well, this year's ghost story is a Norse ghost story, and it comes as part of the 13th century Icelandic collection known as the Hervarar Saga, a loose collection of related stories, and this evening we have a ghostly encounter for you. But before we begin, there are some things that must be known. First of all, there was a magical sword called Tyrfing, and Tything was forged by master dwarves. Every time it was drawn, a bright light, brighter than the sun itself, shone all about. But the sword could never be wielded without death soon following. This was a thirsty blade, and it could never be resheathed without fresh blood still hot upon it. Even those wounded by the sword were sure to die, and any who carried the sword into battle, even if they only achieved a glancing blow, would be assured victory. Most recently, the sword belonged to the Viking Angantyr, and he had inherited it from his father before him. But now Angantyr is dead. He, along with his 11 beserker brothers, were killed in the same battle and buried, along with the legendary blade, in a grave mound on the Isle of Samsey, to the east of Denmark. Enter our hero, or rather heroine, Hervör, daughter of Angantyr. Born after her father's death, she has become a warrior, a Viking, and a fearless grave plunderer in her own right. Tonight's story begins as Hervör sets out intent on retrieving Tything for her own. Now, this evening's story is translated from Old Icelandic, and so it's a bit clunky when it's said in English, but bear with me, the story is there to be heard. And also, within the story there are things called kennings. These are little mini riddles, words which replace other words, for example when describing something. So a good kenning would be the whale road, meaning the ocean, the road upon which whales travel, for example. Kennings are little Easter eggs, little playful things that the Vikings and actually also the Saxons weaved into their stories. And when a kenning appears, I'll put something about it on screen for you. So, are we ready to begin? Are we sitting comfortably? Good. One day, Hervör made ready to depart alone, and, taking with her the gear and weapons of a man, she made her way to a place where there were some Vikings. And for a time she went roving with them, and called herself Hervard, a man's name. A short while after this, Hervard became captain of the band, and when they came to the Samsey island, she demanded to be allowed to go up onto the island, saying that there would be promise of treasure in the burial mounds. But all the men of the company spoke against it, saying that such creatures of evil walked there both by day and by night, that it was worse there in daylight than in many other places in the dark. But at last she had her way, and the anchor was dropped. Hervard got into a boat, and rowing to the shore, landed at Munarberg at the hour of sunset, and there came upon a man who tended a flock. "Who among mortals moves on the island?" he asked. "Now flee you fast, find shelter." "Flee I will not to find shelter, none do I know of the native people. Rather tell me, ere we turn away, where do the cairns lie, called after Hervör. Do not ask me, you are not wise, friend of Vikings, you are far astray. Fare we as fast as feet can bear us, for out in the open all is evil for men. We'll not faint nor fear at such fires crackling through all the land. Be alight with flame, men such as these are a matter too small to make us tremble. Let us talk further. Fool I call him who fares onward, a man alone in the murky night. Fires are moving, mounds are opening, burning are the fields and the fen. Let us run faster. And so he ran off home to his farm, and thus they were parted. Now Hervör saw where upon the island burned the fire of the barrows, and she went towards them without fear. Though all the mounds were on her path, she made her way into these fires as if they were no more than a mere mist, until she came to the barrow of the berserkers. Wake, Angantyr! Hervör wakes you. Svafa's offspring, your only daughter, the keen-edged blade from the barrow give me, the sword dwarf smithied for Stigurlani. Hervard, Hjorvad, Rani, Angantyr, all you brothers, from the roots of the tree I arouse you all, with helm and corslet, keen-edged weapon, gear and buckler, and graven spear. All but to dust have Arngrim's children, men of evil, in the mound been turned. If of Eirfora's sons no single one to me will speak in Munardvag. Hervad, Hjorvad, Rani, Angantyr, may it seem to you all within your ribs, as if a mound of maggots mouldered away, if you fetch me not the sword forged by the Dvalin. It becomes not ghosts costly arms to bear. Then Angantyr rose.
Why do you hail me, Hervör, daughter? To your doom you are faring, filled with evil. Mad you are now, your mind darkened, when with wits wandering you wake the dead. No father or kinsman in cairn laid me, they kept Tyrfing, the two survivors. One alone did wield it after I had died.
You give me a lie? May the gods let you rest whole in your hoe, if you're holding not Tyrfing with you. Unwilling you are to give the heirloom to your only child. Then the barrow opened further, and it were as if the whole mound were fire and flame. Angantyr spoke again.
Hell's gate is lifted, howls are opening, the isle's border is ablaze before you. Grim outside now, you gaze around, to your ships if you can, flee, quick maiden.
No blaze can you light, burning in darkness, that your funeral fires should with fear daunt me. Unmoved shall remain the maiden spirit, though she gazed on a ghost in the grave door standing.
I tell you, Hervör, hear my words out. What shall come to pass, prince's daughter, trust when I tell you. Tyrfing, daughter, shall be ruin and end to all your family. You shall bear offspring who in after days shall wield Tyrfing and trust in its strength. By the name Heidrek, known to his people, born the strongest beneath the sun's curtain.
Then Hervör replied, a human indeed I was held to be, ere I came hither to your hall, seeking the hater of mail coats. From the mound give me the peril to bucklers, the bane of Hjalmar.
Beneath my back is laid the bane of Hjalmar, all around it, enwrapped with fire, in the world walking, no woman out, no eye, who would dare in her hand hold this sword.
I will guard it and grasp it in hand, the keen-edged sword, can I but obtain it. No fear have I of the fire burning, and the flame grows less even as I look upon it.
Fool you are, Hervör, in your heart's daring with eyes open to enter the fire. The blade from the barrow I will bring, rather, O young maiden, I may not refuse you.
Son of warriors, you do well in this, the blade to me from the barrow yielding. King, to keep it, I count it dearer than were all of Norway beneath my hand.
You see it not. Your speech is accursed, woman of evil. Why you're rejoicing, trust, I tell you, Tyrfing, daughter, shall be ruin and evil and the end of your family.
The ghost handed over the magical sword to Hervör. I will go my way now to the wave horses, chieftain's daughter, cheerful-hearted. For I care not at all, O king's companion, how my sons shall strive hereafter.
You shall keep Tyrfing with contentment long, the bane of Hjalmar in hiding keep. Touch not the edges. In each is poison, worse than deadly doom-bringer to men. Farewell, daughter. Fain would I give you 12 heroes' lives. Trust what I tell you, the goodly strength and strong endurance that Arngrim's sons left after them.
May you all lie unharmed in the howl, resting, to hasten hence my heart urges. I seem to myself to be set between worlds, when all about me burned the cairn fires. Now Hervör went down to the shore, and when dawn came she saw that the ships were gone, and that the Vikings had taken fright when they heard the thunders and saw the fires upon the island. They had sailed away. And so continues the adventures of Hervör. She keeps the sword, gets into a couple of scrapes, and it's a pretty good story. But hopefully this evening you have enjoyed her ghostly encounter with Angantyr.